Small head, it was more like they had more medical issues.
Okay. And
like that was like the smaller head, like more medical issues.
so a person with any issues, whether they have a lot of medical issues or not, might be interested. So that wouldn't be a marker, but any kid with autism who was trying to get to know somebody, some are more social and some are less social?
Yes.
Okay. Are there characteristics of kids who are less social? Like if I'm typical and I'm trying to understand somebody and not overwhelm them, how would I know if they're more social or less social? Because they would come near and start circling and coming at me sideways. That would mean they're more social?
Yes. Or, yeah. They might be show signs and stuff.
And what would the signs be that they would show? Because sometimes typical people aren't very able to,
like walking around the area, not too close, not too far.
Not leaving the room.
Yeah.
And if somebody was,
say if it was my nephew, he'll just walk away or close the door.
So he would have a way to show, and that would be intentional. He would be doing that because being around another person might be very uncomfortable for him.
Yes.
So he's trying to fix the situation, and if he isn't able to do a lot of explaining or something, he would simply take an action to help get relief, like to disengage and get away without...
like my daughter will probably stay in the room, and even if it looks like she's not looking at you, she's still smiling and she's still in the room where all the action is. And my nephew will probably just be gone. And if you force them to stay in the room, he'd probably kick and scream and throw himself on the floor.
And probably
bite.
Yeah. And if someone is more social or less social, are their behaviors to help them communicate going to be fairly consistent or fairly inconsistent? Like, would your nephew most of the time respond that way to people? Or,
yes.
And would Dolphin most of the time respond by staying in the room and circling and smiling and things?
Yes.
So that would seem like that would be something that you would see the same behavior most of the time.
Yes, the Dolphin, yeah.
Yeah. And you would see the same behavior most of the time with your nephew.
His behaviors.
Yeah, they would be different, but they would be
the same.
They would be consistent.
Consistent, yes.
Yes, okay. And this is something you told me about before, but I was going to ask again. How did you know or learn how to write or read? Because when you were learning to read, people didn't know you could read.
Yes.
So did a teacher teach you?
No.
So how did you learn to read? I think you told me about you had a grandmother who would watch television.
Oh, I saw the words on TV.
And how did you figure out how to read them? Do you remember what made you start to not just see shapes on TV? And I mean, because, you know, I can see Chinese letters and I can't read them even though I've seen them many times, you know, here and there. I know how to read a European alphabet, but I don't know how to read a Chinese alphabet. Do you have any memories of starting to connect?
That's the way
that they were letters?
The natural learning abilities of all children. The way they learn language, nobody teaches them. what their primary, like if a child, nobody teaches a child English if all they speak is English.
In other words, even if you had
By exposure.
And what did it feel like to know how to read, but nobody knows you know how to read?
It didn't make sense.
How did it not make sense? That what part of it was, what made it feel strange or not make sense?
My sister was expected to know how to read something, and I was not expected to know how to read the same thing.
Do you have any idea about how old you were when you began to learn how to read?
Young.
More than 5 years old or less than 5 years old?
5.
And is your sister older than you or younger?
Younger.
Did you read first?
Yes.
Did anybody know you knew how to read first?
No.
How did you feel about that when you were a child?
It didn't make sense.
Because nobody understood or recognized you were reading?
I figured that out eventually. Because they took the books away. Because I tore the pages.
Do you remember when your sister started to read?
After.
And was there the same reaction or different when she started to read?
She was expected to know how to learn.
Were people happy, sad, they didn't say much? Like parents?
She came back from school with books. I did not come back from school with books.
What did you read so you could keep reading?
Everything.
But how, did you, where were you seeing words so you could keep reading?
There. Everywhere.
Well, like right now, your blanket.
Signs.
Okay.
Signs. Poster boards. Poster boards. Movie posters on the train station. Poster boards. Big billboards. On the TV.
And you did speech first and then typing? Which did you do first, speech or typing? Because you were, I think you told me 9 or 10.
9 speech.
Leave.
12 spell.
9 began with leave alone me.
Yes.
And 12 began.
Alone leave me.
Alone leave me. And 12 began typing?
Yes.
How did you begin to type? What gave you the idea to type?
They brought a computer
To a room?
Yes.
But did someone bring you to the computer?
They showed it, yes.
And right away did you start typing, or did someone hold your hand? What happened?
There were the letters all over. But they were disorganized. They were not in the same pattern they were supposed to be.
What pattern were they supposed to be?
A, B, C, D.
And it was QWERTY, QWERTY. And did they also put letters on the wall?
There were letters on the wall, ABC letters on the wall in this classroom.
And there was, then they brought in a computer with a keyboard also?
Yes.
And I remember you telling me that they were seeing typing on the computer and they didn't know who was doing it.
Yes.
So nobody was looking when you were typing? Nobody.
Yeah, they thought I was playing.
So they just, touch, like a toy. Bang, 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 like that. Like a little kid with a pot or a pan. And then, do you remember, did you know even if the letters were in different order on the typing, on the keyboard, that you could make words?
That's what I wanted after I could hit the word in the letter.
Yes.
And I could rearrange them. I could rearrange them improperly, like the A was supposed to go first, and the B was supposed to go second, and the C third, and the D fourth. So I did this first.
So how did you feel being able to make the letters go in order on the screen?
Better.
What did they notice you were putting the letters in order?
Yes, after.
When did you start going from putting letters in order to, did you have an idea in your head that you could put the letters in order to make a word also?
Yeah, I knew the patterns, what are words.
So
Everything has a pattern.
what do you remember the first word you ever typed? Or words?
My name.
How did it make you feel to put your name through your fingers? Typing. Did people see your name?
Yes.
Or did they say it? Typical people say anything?
Typical, the teachers?
Yeah, or anybody in the room who was with language and not autistic, did they?
Yes.
What did they say?
The class was mixed. We were retarded, not autistic. It's what they called us. I mean, they didn't use autism as much. Everybody was together. Down syndrome, and the rest of us too. That was my diagnosis then, mentally retarded.
Did you understand what that phrase meant as a child?
From what I understood, it meant that I can't do things like other people could.
Well, somebody could be in a wheelchair and not be able to walk or run, but they wouldn't be called retarded.
Yeah. So it's like my brain was broken.
And what did you think if your brain was broken and you knew how to read? It seems like, how can a brain be broken but also know how to read? Did you ever think of that idea as a child?
No. They said I was retarded. I believed them.
So, when you started typing your name, was anybody sitting or standing with you or holding on to you or touching you while you were typing, or this is more of the banging and you're trying to put the letters in order by yourself?
There was Mr. White next to me.
Was he with you when you put the letters A, B, C order?
Yes, but talking to someone else.
Was he just sitting next to you, or was he also holding your hand, or?
He wanted to teach me how to spell my name.
How would he just, did he give you directions with his voice? Did he try to make your hands move? What did he do?
He spelled it first. He spelled my name first. And he wanted me to do the same. And
So did he spell your name first by, did he type your name first?
Yes.
And did he say the letters?
Yes.
And did he tell you with his voice, Julie, now you spell it? Or did he take your hand and make you try to type it with your fingers? What did
he was getting my attention. He wanted me to spell my name.
With his, getting your attention with his voice or with his...
and then with his hand, he pushed the buttons.
With your hand and his hand together?
After he was trying to force, yes. And I resisted because I was upset that the alphabet wasn't in order the way it was supposed to be. So first the alphabet had to be in order, the pattern had to be in order first, which is what is now, it was like the alphabet. So it had to be in order first. I did not want to do that until it was in order first. So after I did A, B, C, D, then I wrote my name.
And when you put it in order, that's when he was talking to someone else and thinking you're just playing?
Yes, because he kept pushing me to do J, U, L, and I kept trying to go for A.
And so when he got busy and he's thinking
I hit A, and
he was not touching you then?
Yeah, because he was trying to get me to touch J.
Right, and you were pulling over to A.
And I pulled, because he was wanting me to make it, and I was upset because I didn't want him to make me until I fixed
the order.
Yes. So he kept trying to push J, and I hit A all the time. And he was frustrated because his breathing changed and his body movements changed, which meant like he was losing interest. That meant I could do it the way I want. So I started playing with them first, and then I reordered them.
Now, during this time when he lost interest, was he just sitting next to you?
Yes.
And he was now he was quitting looking at you and quitting holding your hands?
Forcing my hand, like no.
So when he's sitting and listening to someone else, was his hand still touching your hand? He's like